Hi guys, and welcome to this morning's Wyke Fitness video. It's yoga today, and I'm Andrea Mason. I'd just like to put in a disclaimer at the beginning that I am not a yoga expert, nor am I a fitness instructor, but I'm going to do my best to sort of guide you through some moves that I do when I go to my yoga class, and that I also do online on a regular basis. So hopefully you'll be able to join in and get some benefits from it. You can do this anywhere, in your living room or your kitchen or your bedroom, wherever you've got some space. I'm using a mat, but you don't necessarily have to. It's probably best if you're barefoot and then you won't slip. But if you can just join along, and it'll be about 15 minutes long. So we're going to start cross-legged in our space, wherever that may be, with a nice straight back and your hands on your knees. And we're just going to do some breathing exercises to start off with. Just to kind of relax us and get us in the sort of mind space of some relaxating poses. So what I'd like you to do is, with a nice straight back, is breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we're just going to do that for about half a minute. Okay, so hopefully you found a nice little bit of peace and quiet, and your breathing is nice and steady. Just to sort of limber up, we're going to do some simple stretches. So if you can raise your left arm up, and then with your right hand, bring this over. So you're fully stretching over to the right hand side, so you've got a nice stretch down this side of your body. Okay, and the same with the other side. So right arm straight up, and then with your left hand, you're bringing that right across, so you're getting that nice stretch down the right hand side of your body. Okay, and then we're just going to lean back, so hands just slightly behind you and looking up to the ceiling. And just sort of stretching out, so getting like a nice stretch in the lower part of your back. Okay. Right, we're now going to come on to all fours. So I'm going to face this way. We'll get into the all four position. And we're just going to do some nice steady stretches. So you notice my feet are still on sort of tippy toe. We're going to go through the cat-cow position. So we're going to sort of arch our back this way and then bring it up this way. And hopefully that will be a nice sort of steady undulating kind of movement. So we'll start by dipping our back. So we've got a nice arch this way. And then we'll come up to arch our back the other way. And that will hopefully become a nice fluid movement. What you can do, if you wish, is to start putting a bit of a sort of rock into that. So you're kind of coming up in a bit of a anti-clockwise kind of movement. And then you can go the other way. So one thing I've learned in yoga, if you do something one way, you've then got to do it the other way, or do it on both sides of your body. Well, I'll probably end up getting that wrong today. Okay. Right, so one of the sort of basic moves in yoga is the downward facing dog, and we're going to do that as part of sort of yoga half a flow. So what I'd like you to do, with your toes down, we're going to come up into the downward dog. And we're basically getting our bums as high in the air as we possibly can. Now, some people I know don't like this position because they find it's a bit of a rush of blood to the head. Well, that's why I think I quite like it, because it actually wakes me up. But if at any point you don't like being in this position, you can always come to what's known as child's pose. So your big toes are kind of touching each other. Your legs are slightly apart, so you're sort of kneeling down. Then you come forward and your forehead touches the mat, and you can really, really stretch your arms forward. So you still get a nice stretch in your back, in your bottom. So if at any point you'd rather do that, that's absolutely fine. But failing that, you should be, if you can be, in the downward facing dog. And you can pedal that out as well, which is quite nice for your calf muscles. Okay, so now we're down here. What we're going to do is bring our right leg forward into a sort of long lunge, okay? And then we're going to bring our left foot up to meet it. This is when it's nice to have a bit of space and not headbutting the arm of my sofa. But if you can drop your head forward into what's called a full forward facing fold. Some of you might be able to touch toes, some of you might not, you might be up here. That's absolutely fine, but you just kind of let the weight of your head drop you forward, okay? And then we'll come up to a half lift. So in this position, you should have a nice flat back, if at all possible. And then we'll go back down into forward fold, okay? Now from here, we're going to come up into mountain pose. So with our arms, we take a big deep breath. And we come up. And then we come back down again. Back into forward fold. Back up to table position. And back down into forward fold. And this time we're going to take our left foot back. Okay? And we're going to hopefully come up into a nice forward lunge. And we're going to put our hands forward. And hopefully keep a nice balanced pose. It sometimes helps, not if I'm looking at the camera, but if you pick a point ahead of you that you can focus on, that often really helps with balance. Or you might find one side is easier than the other. Okay, and then we'll come back down. Hands either side of your foot, and then you take your right foot back and back into downward facing dog. And then we're going to bring our left foot forward. I need to wiggle that one a little bit more forward than my right foot. So get our balance, and then we come up into our nice lunge again, and our arms go forward. And we're creating a nice stretch down this left thigh and also down the right thigh as well. Okay. And then we come back down and we're going to hop or wiggle our right foot forward to the top of the mat where it meets our left foot in downward fold, full forward fold, sorry. And then up to half fold, our tabletop position. And then back down. And then big breath, up again. And then our right foot goes back. Now from this position, we're hopefully going to come into warrior one and then warrior two, but we'll start with warrior one. So we're coming up into our lunge, but this time our right foot is now facing the front of the mat. So you're kind of facing full on. Okay, oh no, I lied. Firstly, warrior one. Okay, then we move our arm and our foot comes forward. Okay, so we're now in this position, which is warrior two. And we're really going to lunge into that. So leaning our full weight over our left leg. Okay, and from here, we're going to go into triangle pose. So we're just tipping at our hips and we're going to move to the left. So hopefully that's what should happen. And our left arm then sort of rests and presses against the inside of our left thigh, and our right arm is pointing upwards. If you're feeling brave, you can look towards your right arm and your right fingers. It can tip you off balance slightly, so you can keep facing forward if you wish. And we're just going to hold that pose for a little while. And then we come back up, so we sort of tip back out of it, and you're moving everything back into reverse. Okay, and then we're going to hop back to the front of the mat. Okay, so again, big breath in, forward fold, and we're now going to tip our left leg back. Now you're going to see the back of me, I'm afraid. So we now come up into warrior one and tip into warrior two. So we're now facing the other way. Okay, so we sort of lean over our right leg this time, and then we tip and sort of turn at the hips and move into triangle pose. And this time we're pressing our right arm against our inner right thigh. So we're keeping nice and straight, sort of perpendicular to the long end of our mat. And again, if we're feeling brave, we can look at our fingers. It does tip you off balance, but it's a really good pose for balance and posture. And then we look back forward, and then we come back into warrior two, straighten our leg, and then we can hop back to the front of the mat. Okay, we're going to do one more flow all the way through, and we're going to incorporate plank move and then cobra, and then we're going to come into a couple of balancing moves, and then some more breathing exercises. Okay, so you're at the front of your mat, sort of feet hip width apart, big breath in, breath out, down. I'm going to step back a little bit, so I'm nearly headbutting my sofa again. And then full forward fold, and we're going to bring our right foot back. Okay, and then go into a deep lunge, and then bring our left foot back to meet it, and we go up into downward dog. And again, you can pedal this out if that helps. What's quite nice is if you move your heels to the bottom right corner of your yoga mat, or wherever it is you're doing this, so they kind of tip on a bit of a point, and then we move over to the other side. Okay, you can also do this sort of pigeon toed. Again, that creates quite a nice stretch on the outside of your thigh. Okay, and then we're going to come into a plank pose. So this is really engaging your core, which I don't have a lot of, but give it a try. And then we come down, and then our nose almost touches the floor or the mat, and then we push ourselves up into Cobra Pose. Now, if you're feeling really energetic, you can sort of push this even further up to upward dog, or you can stay in Cobra. So the main difference is your hands to your elbows are on the floor for Cobra. For upward dog, you're kind of pushing up from your hands, but you can choose whichever one you'd like to do, depending on how you want to push yourself. So from Cobra, we're sort of stretching our backs, and you notice the front part of my feet are facing down on the mat, so it's a really lovely stretch. And then toes curl back under, hands here at your side, and then we're going to push up through all fours back into downward facing dog. Okay. And then we're going to step our left foot forward, or wiggle it forward. Okay, and a nice long lunge. And then we're going to step, whoop, or hop our right foot up to meet it. Again, feet hip width apart. And a nice sort of downward fold, forward fold, really stretching out the backs of our legs here. Up to half fold, so tabletop position, nice flat back. And then back down. And we'll take the left foot back. Okay, nice long lunge. And then right foot back to join it. Back into downward dog. Okay, and then we're going to lower our knees gently onto the floor. Okay, and then toes together. And we're going to have a little rest in child's pose. Okay, so nice long stretch through the arms and the fingertips. Forehead on the mat or on the floor. Just take a couple of nice deep breaths. Just really feel the stretch. Okay, back onto all fours. And then just take a moment. Okay. And we're then going to do, as I said, a couple of balancing poses. Now, as I said earlier, sometimes it's really useful to pick a spot either on the floor or on a wall so that you don't lose your balance. But if you are a little bit wobbly for whatever reason, you can always grab a wall or a table or something, or a kitchen worktop, whichever's near you, to sort of help you with your balance. So I'm just going to come up to standing. Okay. And actually I might do this way. You can actually see this. It's a stretch as well as a balance. So you can do it either way. But we're going to come into what's called chair pose. So sort of bend our legs. I think it's very similar to a move that Tony did with her body balance video earlier in the week. So arms come forward. Okay, and then we extend, we sort of go up onto tiptoe on, so the right foot is really planted on the floor, left foot, we're just starting to take the weight off it. And we extend our left foot backwards. And you can really lean into this and hold it there for a few moments. You might find that your leg is shaking or wobbling, that's absolutely fine. That's your body working to find its balance. And again, this will really help engage your core muscles. Okay, and gradually come back up. Left foot finds the floor. And we sort of shake it out, and you'll obviously feel a bit of tension in your right leg, so we've got to swap that over to the left leg. So we come into chair pose again. Easing into that. This time we're swapping over, so we're planting the weight into our left foot and then stretching out our right leg and tipping forward. I always find it slightly more difficult on my left foot than my right to balance. Just hold that there for a few moments. Okay. And then we gradually come back up again. Find the floor with your right foot and shake that out. Excellent. Right, so this is a slightly more tricky balance pose, so you can join in or not, depending on how you feel. So this one, we're going to start on our right foot, holding the weight. So gradually, sort of hold our arms out, okay? So this is our tree pose. And we gradually bring our left foot up to either where our calf muscle is or thigh. Try not to put it in the knee joint because that will destabilize you a little bit. So you can bring it up high or you can have it down where your calf is. Okay? And again, pick a point in the distance and we hold this pose. You can see that I'm wobbling slightly. That's absolutely fine. Okay, and then gradually try not to ping out of it, but go back gradually. Sorry, my mat's racking up. Okay, and then we do the same on the other side. So bring our leg up. As I say, it's always slightly more difficult for me on my left hand side. But pick a point in the distance and then try to hold that pose. Again, really, really good for posture. Okay. And then slowly come out. Again, try not to ping out of it. Excellent. Right. So we're now going to lay down on our mats and do some sort of final stretches and then some breathing exercises. And then hopefully we can meet again in the future and we'll do some other stuff. Right, so we come down. So I'm going to move my mats slightly. So we're laying down on our mats, but we're keeping our knees raised and our feet flat on the floor. Okay, and we're going to come into what's known as a bridge pose. Okay, so we're gradually sort of curling our backs off the floor. So each vertebrae is gradually coming off the floor. So your shoulders are then sort of supporting your weight along with your feet. Gradually bringing everything up. So your hands are almost there to sort of gently support you, but your shoulders and your feet and your legs are actually doing most of the work. Okay, and then we'll go back gradually, curling back until the small of your back touches the mat. Okay, we're going to do that again. So gradually curling our spine off the floor into bridge pose. And then gradually going back down. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we're just going to come up onto our toes, and our arms are going to go out to each side, and then we're going to lift our legs up and we're going to curl them over to the right hand side. Now while you're doing this, you're going to look in the opposite direction at your left hand. So you can either have your toes on the floor or you can have them slightly above. And then as you come back across, your hip comes up and moves in the opposite direction. And again, you can either have your toes down or you can have them up. This is a nice sort of stretch for the side of your body. Okay, and come back up. Hug your knees in. And you can do a little rotation if you like, both clockwise and anti-clockwise. Do a couple each way. Okay. And now we're going to come in to do some sort of final relaxation. Grab whatever you need to help you with this, some blankets to keep you warm or a pillow for your head. I'm always quite happy just laying on my yoga mat, but you can do whatever you need to make you comfy. Just really, really fall into it. You know, let your legs relax, your arms relax. Hopefully your breathing will be quite slow and steady, although we have done a few poses that have caused our heart rate to get a little bit faster, but on the whole it's just generally been quite gentle. I'd like you to close your eyes and take in some big deep breath. Again, through the nose, in through the nose and out through the mouth. When I go to my yoga class, when we're in this at the end, we call it Shavasana, and we always set an intention for the day, something that we're going to do, read or see, something really positive. Could be something big or small for you, so that's quite a nice thing to do. Just it might be pick up a book, watch something you wanted on the telly, eat something nice, take care of yourself in some way. That's a really nice thing to do. Okay, so you want to open your eyes, wriggle your fingers and your toes. Take a big, long last, full body stretch, which is really nice. And then when you're ready, you can come up to sitting, and you can either do this by sort of going onto your side, or you can gradually rock to come up. Okay. And then, back where we started, sort of stretch your neck out if you wish. Take any sort of last minute stretches to wake the body up. So I just want to thank you for joining me today. As I say, I'm no expert, and I've probably got quite a bit of this wrong. My yoga teacher will probably be having a word with me when she sees it. But thank you ever so much for joining me, and take care, and hopefully see you soon. Namaste.